From Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, it is NBL Canada playoff action on 5TV1. This afternoon, it's the Island Storm playing host to the St. John Riptide in Game 4. The Storm lead the series 2-1. How you doing, everybody? I'm Peter Ruckgazer alongside Gord McNeely. Glad you can join us. Gord, last night was a great advertisement for NBL Canada. It's such a great league. A 130-123 overtime victory for the Island Storm. Both teams, they shot the lights out.
It was an unbelievable game, and hoping for more of the same today. And, you know, if you think that these teams don't give it their all, you're wrong. They fight for St. John. They fight for Charlottetown. They fight for Prince Edward Island. These young athletes are giving everything they have. So we saw a good basketball game last night, one of the best I've seen in this league, and I'm expecting even more today.
St. John, they lost their starting point guard. Horace Wormley decided to take a contract in Venezuela, left the team. It was point guard by committee last night for St. John. How do you think they fared?
Well, they struggled a little bit until Anderson took over in the third quarter. They outscored the Storm by 13 in that third quarter, and a large part of it was Anderson and Freeman. So you got to watch him at the point. He shot huge. He shot a huge percentage last night. One of the best players in the league, and he's going to come out and try to save the season for this St. John team.
Now, both teams are going to be missing players here today. Akeem Ellis for the Storm and Alou Famatimi for the St. John Riptide. They've been suspended one game for coming off the bench during an altercation in last night's contest. And also, Al Stewart will be suspended for one game for an altercation that he had with a fan in St. John in game number 2. Right now, folks, we're going to step out. We'll come back with the starting lineups and the opening tip. You're watching NBL Canada on 5TV1.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Hey, Mom, is it okay if Sarah comes over for dinner tonight?
Yeah, as long as it's okay with her mom.
Can she?
Yeah, of course.
Yes!
At Ronald McDonald House, we give families a home away from home, close to their sick children.
Welcome back, everybody. We're moments away from getting this one underway. Game number 4 of this Eastern Division semifinal series in the Atlantic Division in NBL Canada playoff action. The Storm leading this series 2-1. They can close it out here this afternoon. Let's send it downstairs now to the PA announcer, Paul M. Skierman.
Is Rob Swan, the assistant coach, Dave McManus. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing your all-star cresting starting lineup for your Island Lakeville, Maryland, from Mount St. Mary's University, a 6'3" guard, number 22, Rashad Wack. From Lakeville, Minnesota, from Augustana University, a 6'5" forward, number 15, Al Richter. From Lawrence, South Carolina, out of Marshall University, a 6'7" forward, number 11, Harrell Bean. From Bathurst, New Brunswick, out of the University of Prince Edward Island, a 6'7" forward, number 7, Brad States. And from Mesa, Arizona, out of Arizona State University, a 5'10" point guard, number 1, John P. Person. Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the Island Storm in his 6th season is Joe Salerno. Assistant coaches Ray Vadito and Jeff Morrison. The team manager is Mitch Rowley, and the head physiotherapist, Colin Moore.
Well, there you have the starting lineups for both these teams. Folks, buckle up, because if this game is anything like the game that we saw last night, you're in for a treat. You're going to get your money's worth.
Yeah, the Storm, they had a really good game. They stuck together. They had the third quarter for them wasn't very good last night, but St. John, listen, they kept the game close. They're playing in foreign territory, and they played really well. So I think you're going to see their 2 All-Stars, Freeman and Anderson. Anderson's starting tonight. We didn't see much of him early on in the game yesterday. So, I mean, it could be a totally different game here today.
And, you know, both teams shot over 50% last night. The Storm, they shot 42% from three-point range, 50% from three-point range for the Riptide. You know, games 1 and 2 were good games, but last night's game was what we were expecting to see right from the get-go between these two teams. Just offensive-minded teams that know how to score the ball.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's Terrell Baines. He has to have a big night tonight. Brad States is starting. I see his dad down there recording this. So, I mean, his first playoff game starting. Big for the Bathurst native out of the Maritimes. So, I mean, there's going to be, and listen, the emotion last night was thick and heavy from coaches, players, everything. So watch the little things here today.
So we're underway. Game number 4. It's pretty simple. Storm win this one, they go to the Atlantic Division Final. If St. John wins it, they force it Game 5 on Tuesday, and Baines gets the party started with the deuce.
Yeah, that was a great play, a set play to start. You know, Terrell Baines gets an easy shot to get himself going right away.
Here's Anderson. Freeman from around the corner. That's in and out.
And he hit 3 threes last night, so extending his game a little bit.
Rashad Wack, a little short with that shot. Anderson will push it up the court here. Anderson's going to drive off the window and in.
Yeah, and I think he's going to put his team on his back early on in the middle of the game and at the end too as well. So
it was kind of strange last night not to see him on the court for at least a quarter and a half until he made his first appearance.
Yeah, and he's guarding Al Richter, so I'll talk about why in a second. Well, because Al Richter's a spot-up shooter from the corner, so if they put Anderson on Richter, he doesn't have to move as much on defense as guarding the point guard. So they're trying to rest him because they know they need his offense.
And Al Richter, what a night he had last night. 28 points, 4 boards, 4 dimes, 10 of 17 from the field, 8 of 13 from three-point range.
Yeah, Mencey's on whack here. Mencey had a good game last night too. Fouled out, so we'll watch to see if he picks up any early ones.
Ball saved there by Anderson, but recovered by the Storm. That long-range 3 from Carson was in and out.
Yeah, so an early foul. Offense, well, that's good because the Storm with Brad State starting in in the 4 spot, they're going to get a little bit more offensive rebounding tips. He's a very active player on the offensive rebound, or both sides of the rebound. But he's guarding Freeman right now, so this is a big test for him.
We saw him guard Freeman last night. Did fairly well against the veteran, and a foul there right off the hop to States.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not sure about that one. It would look like he was moving his feet. I didn't really see any aggressive. You'll see it here. Look, you're moving your feet. What else are you supposed to really do? Maybe his hips were moving towards Freeman a little bit, but good minutes early on. And in this league, too, you get 6 fouls. So so the fans watching at home, normally in the AUS, it's only 5. So you get that extra foul to.
And that's going to be Storm ball. And Brad States inserted into the starting lineup. Of course, Akeem Ellis. We mentioned it in our pregame. Akeem Ellis suspended for a game, as is Olufamatimi of St. John. They came off the bench during an altercation. That's a no-no. So they're out for this game. Here's Al Stewart, drives the lane, gets the deuce.
That's Richter.
Or excuse me.
Yeah. There's so many
Al
Al's.
Richter. Too many Al's in this league, yeah. I was going to say, Al Stewart also suspended for an altercation in game 2. I think that's what I had on my mind.
Yeah.
So Al Richter with 2 points there.
And when you can get your 3-point gunner, an easy layup right away. Good pass by States, too. Good curl screen, curled right off that screen.
So it's Gabe Freeman one-on-one with Baines. Launches it, and that's a miss and brought down by a whack.
And he's tapping his chest as he's going back down. No, it's my. Oh, nice.
Nice move by States. Can't finish.
Just stepped on the defender.
Back the other way comes St. John. Mincy, he wanted a foul, not going to get it.
And
he says he was hit on his arm.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to get too much of that.
Jahi Carson moves in.
Wow, that foul's going on Baines.
See now, who's the foul against?
25.
Freeman is getting the foul. And
okay.
There you see Gabe Freeman. He's just shaking his head in disbelief.
Well, we're up here saying I don't. There's the foul. It wasn't called. You're not going to get that. It's playoffs. And then what we were watching, we didn't know which team or who was going to get the foul. So the refs have been told. They watched the game last night and they said, hey, you know what? We got to get control of this game early on. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Here's Whack, mid-range J. And nice tip.
That's Baines.
Baines muscling in there.
And that's
6-4
bonus
lead for the Storm.
Yeah, that's bonus for the Storm. They haven't been able to offensive rebound as well as other teams against them this year.
Here's Freeman. That was a tough shot. A little fadeaway jumper.
Freeman can play, and he's looking to be assertive, I think, tonight.
Jahi Carson States. He's wide open. Tries it for 3. The miss. Mency with the board. Speaking of rebounds, last night in the contest, Island Storm, they won the rebound battle 46-38.
No, that Brad State's about to pick up his 2nd foul. I mean, Freeman's just so hard to check. So, yeah, you're going to see a sub in Terry Thomas.
Terry Thomas.
When that ball rotates and it goes to Freeman, it's so hard to close out properly. It's almost impossible.
So States has to take a seat. 2 quick fouls on him. And there's Commons. Commons gets the hoop and the harm.
Yeah, and I mean, that is a great take for Commons. Played well last night. I saw him after the game too. he was upset.
A little agitated?
Yeah, and a little agitated. I'm not sure what. I didn't feel like he wanted to chat with myself. But I mean, they're into this game. So I mean, good start for him.
Yeah, a little situation happened last night after the game. Riptide players, they were still arguing with the referees, and they had to be sent to the dressing room. So there was some tension after last night's contest. Cooler heads prevailed, and here we are in game 4. Jahi Carson, no room for him to roam. To Al Richter. And that'll be Riptide ball here as Anthony Anderson to Freeman in the corner for Mency, and he drains the 3-ball.
Yeah, and they're really close. St. John Riptide are closing off the lanes that were there last night. There's 2 or 3 guys meeting the Storm players at the rim, and you see it there.
Riptide by 6. Whack. And right now, Storm knocking down their shots in the early going of this one. Here's Mency. And that will be Riptide ball.
No, it's a foul. It's a foul on AJ Stewart? Oh, yeah. That's...
Wow. Okay.
That's another one. The refs are really going to get control of this game.
Here's Commons as he hits one, and now a timeout called. And the Island Storm not off to a real good start here. Down by 8.
And, you know, we're up here. Usually we can tell who's going to get a foul. I can't tell right now who's going to get the foul. So the referees have been told, like, hey, you get control of this game one way or another. And that's what's happening here. And unfortunately, the Storm are taking the brunt of that.
Okay, we're going to step out for a bit, folks. 7:14 remaining in the first quarter. 14-6 in favor of the Riptide over the Storm. Back with more here in Charlottetown right after this.
Is that 5 TV?
Oh, you know it, man.
With ultra stunning 4K picture quality.
I love using Restart.
I use that all the time. We love having Crave TV and Netflix right on it.
And having all my TVs set up wirelessly, it's amazing.
Can you imagine some people still don't have 5 TV? I don't have it. Because I was living abroad.
With so many reasons to love 5 TV, it's time to make the switch to the best TV service.
Oh, sorry.
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 Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Island Storm basketball on 5 TV 1 is brought to you by Grafcom Group Design Web Marketing. We're here to help you be great. Welcome back to Charlottetown, everybody. Peter Ruckgazer alongside Gord McNeely. Game number 4 of the Atlantic Division semifinal. And it's a 14-6 lead for St. John here in this first quarter.
Yeah, and Storm, after that timeout, did a great job. Moved the ball around, got it into the big man, AJ Stewart, going to the line. That's what you do after a timeout. I mean, Storm have to settle down and just play. And listen, for St. John, that's exactly how you want to play. Inside, outside, Freeman needs to touch the ball, and Anderson needs to touch the ball. But very strange reffing. We're watching that dynamic today, and clearly they're trying to call this game quite a bit tighter. So with both teams down in players, you got to be careful that you don't get into foul trouble.
No Al Stewart, no Akeem Ellis for the Riptide, or for the Storm rather, and for the Riptide, Famatimi. Here's Commons, and Terry Thomas has the ball. Al Richter inside for AJ Stewart, and that was knocked away by Commons, and then Mincy goes for a spill into the crowd.
They're not calling a foul.
Wow.
What? That's a bit extreme. Like, so that's AJ. Listen, so now you're talking about, we have to look down the line here. That's AJ Stewart's second. Terrell Baines has 2, and Brad States has 2. So
Storm have to be careful here.
And that entry pass, it was just simply the entry pass wasn't in the right spot. And you get a foul out of that. So
here's Mincy, crossover, lost it momentarily, and then sinks it. So 16-7 for the Riptide over the Storm.
And, you know, this is not the night with Al Stewart and Akeem Ellis. Akeem Ellis plays that 3-4 position. He's not playing at all. So he gives you offense and defense. He's not even in the lineup for the Storm. So these fouls, every one of these fouls on their big guys is crucially important.
Yeah, and Akeem Ellis' energy, you know, his love for the game that really spills over to the rest of the players, and they are really going to miss that here this afternoon.
I mean, it's a Sunday game here. They really, that's a big shot there.
Big shot by Rashad Wack. See if that can get the Storm going a little bit here. Wack had 13 points, 8 rebounds last night.
And there's another foul on Thomas. Just closed out a little bit too aggressively.
Terry Thomas didn't play game number 2 because of that wrist injury. Came off the bench last night. Boy, he looked pretty solid last night, the way he played. So I don't think that wrist is that much of a concern after last night's outing.
He had 19 points. But what I'm watching here is like 5:44 left. St. John officially just went into bonus. So they didn't shoot the ball from the free throw line very well last night, but this could be a big, big change here. So the Storm cannot foul. They have to play defense with their feet for the rest of this quarter.
Riptide shot 72.7% from the free throw line, and got to be a little bit better than that.
Yeah, and I think Freeman was like 5 for 10 from the free throw line too. So, there's a nice cross.
Over here by Jahid Carson. The hoop and the harm.
His dynamics with the ball. You know, watch this. Right there, bang. He's got his man leaning. And then he kind of rocks into the defender, rocks out of the defender, and puts a spin on the ball. I mean, he was sensational last night. And picking up where he left off here today.
Yeah, he took it to a whole new level in the fourth quarter of last night's game.
Well, he was 10 for 10 from the foul line.
Yeah.
So
32 points for Jahid Carson is a tip in there by Stovers. He gets his first touch of the game. Jahid Carson, 32 points, 12 assists, 10 of 20 from the field last night in game number 3.
But those are unbelievable numbers.
Here's Terry Thomas.
I like the way he's shooting the ball.
Terry Thomas with 3 there.
It's so much straighter. His body's in line, his elbow's in line, and his fall through is just perfect now. He's really worked on it this season, you can tell.
Mency with the miss. And is that a foul against Jahid Carson?
I think it's on Richter. And we watched that. He's trying to block out Stover. Stover's between 6'10" and 7'1". I heard. So this guy is legit, and he's just trying to block him out and picks up an easy one. Let's check how many fouls he's got. That'll be his first. So, and Peter, that foul was directly picked up because the Storm's big people have foul trouble. And Akeem Ellis is not. Akeem Ellis is the one you normally blocking out, and this time it was Al Richter. So we'll see how that plays out in the game today.
They've got Mike Allison into the contest now. Jahid Carson to Allison underneath the hoop.
Good catch.
A little too strong.
And he's going to play big minutes tonight. Mike Allison will.
Mike Allison, a real good defensive center. Oh, nice fake by Mency. And then the follow-up by Stover. So Stover has been active for the Riptide since being sent into the game.
And Mike Allison got caught in no man's land between guarding the shooter and having to block out and didn't do either. So,
and there's Stover again. As he swats that one away, it'll be Storm ball, though, with 11 seconds left on the shot clock.
And Stover's arms are, as long as a flagpole. It's just hard to get the ball up over top of him.
Aaron Brown now into the game for St. John, and there from the corner, Rashad Wack.
And he's been playing the last 3 games. He's been very good. They've got him out here to defend right here. Anderson, defend that play right there.
Inside for Stover. He lost it, and then a travel on Stover. Stover out of UCLA. Also played in LA for the defenders of the D League.
Yeah. And you know what Coach Spahn is saying there? He's like, he didn't have control. It's either a jump ball or a foul, or so. I mean, they're just arguing their case, but
crowd coming alive here a little bit in Charlottetown. Jahi Carson flies in and lays it in.
And Mency's trying, but Mency can't guard him. That's just the bottom line. He's bigger, but Jahi's foot speed's just too good. But they don't want to guard Jahi Carson with Anderson because they need Anderson's offense.
Gabe Freeman sinks it, and he'll head to the free throw line.
And I don't know who's going to guard him. You know,
Gabe Freeman.
Yeah, Freeman is too much for Mike Allison. Helps there. I mean, so because he goes both ways. So Freeman is you never know. He's 6'6", plays about, you know, he's got the guard skills of a 6'4" player, but can play 6'8". So I mean, how are you gonna guard that?
Riptide by 5, 26-21, 3:16 remaining in the first quarter.
Oh, nice.
There's Allison. Nice little touch there by Jahi Carson to set up Mike Allison.
And Jahi froze 2 defenders and lobbed it over top. That's going to open up a lot right there.
Shot by Anderson, no good. And now Jahi wants to push it up the court.
You can't guard this.
Here's Wack. Wack, nice dribbling. And that's 2 for Rashad Wack.
And what a late season pickup by the Storm to get Rashad Wack back.
Back in the attack. Mincy, no good. Here comes Terry Thomas. Speaking of attack, Terry Thomas gets fouled there by Gabe Freeman. Yeah, to pick up a player like Rashad Wack towards the end of the season, and a player that Coach Salerno knows very well, and Wack knows what to expect from the coach. I mean, that's such a plus, such a bonus.
Yeah, and the fans love him. Like, just a great guy. And this is a tough situation for St. John because you know where Terry Thomas is going to take it. And good foul by Freeman.
Little forearm on the top of the head. So Riptide by 1, 26-25, 2:30 remaining here in this opening quarter of game number 4.
Oh.
And Terry misses both of them.
They pushed the first one, softened it up, but the line was the second one. So it's good. Normally a good free throw shooter.
Pass inside for Anderson, saves it. There's Brown. Aaron Brown being watched by State.
And Brad's got to watch out. He's got 2. He's back in the game here with 2 minutes left to go. So play with your feet.
Here's Freeman. Shot clock running down. Banks it off the glass. Gabe Freeman. Makes it 28-25 for the Riptide.
That's an insane shot. It's almost unbelievable.
Here's Wack. States looking for the loose ball. He goes for a spill. Then off the wing, Mincy. Inside for Brown. Good defensive play by Mike Allison. Kick it out. State's wide open for 3. Left it off the iron.
Yeah, he's getting much better at shooting that 3 for a spot-up 3.
Here's Anthony Anderson. That was in and out.
And we've seen him miss a couple. Last night we didn't see him miss much at all. He's been off there with a couple of shots, so he's definitely looking to get his offense going.
Yeah, he rarely missed anything. 8 of 10 from the field, 5 of 6 from three-point range.
Yeah. And the reason why they're missing at home versus last night's shooting percentage for both teams is this game is within 12 hours of the last one. And last night was an overtime. It was hot in here, and both teams went at it. So they're a little bit fatigued.
And that'll be Storm ball. Yeah, I mean, it was so hot in here last night, and today, at either ends of the rink, they've opened up the entrances, let some cool air get in here.
Yeah, well, our friends in St. John would know, and New Brunswick, we're getting a lot of rain, and the humidity is up, so it really affects this court and this facility.
38 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Stover, State's trying to defend him. Stover gave State's a little bit of a rough ride. Here's Brown. Brown moves in. Brown had a great game as well last night. He got the coach's confidence and got some big minutes in the second half of last night's game.
I like that move too. Good young player. Listen, 13 seconds on the shot clock here. It's about a second differential. Whoa.
Oh, collision there. As that was Mincy and Stover.
That'd be a nice play to see again.
They hit the court.
Watch this. Watch the post player at the high post. We'll see what happens here. Mike Allison will start to make his way up. I think he jumped. I mean, there was definitely contact, but you can't push a 6'10" guy into the air.
So Mike Allison, as you said, he's probably going to see a lot of time here now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, but he must be on some weight training program between last night and tonight, because he pushed over with one hand up in the air. So listen, that's we saw a lot of those hand checks last night and the forearm bars, and we'll see what happens in the second half of this game, but they're not going to allow it. And you see it right there, but really an offensive foul, just a terrible time for the offensive foul. You're down 5. You mean you had a 1 second differential on the shot clock. Now you're fouled and turned the ball over. So you're just kind of hoping your defense can buckle down and get a stop here with 7 seconds on the clock.
So 7.1 remaining as they continue to wipe down some of the moisture on the court here. Terry Thomas doing some of the chores.
Well, that's what we said, is that you'll see a little bit more of that. This floor cannot get wet at all. If it starts to get wet, it's lights out. So they're going to take a little bit more time, make sure they get all the moisture off the floor.
2 on the shot clock. Here's McQueen. Shot is no good.
And Storm are lucky that didn't go in.
So at the end of one quarter, the Riptide 30, Storm 25. Brief thoughts on what you saw there, Gord?
Well, it was definitely a different quarter, a tired, fatigued quarter, a feel-it-out kind of quarter. The Storm are lucky to be in this basketball game with the way they played. They got to keep moving the basketball. Fouls was a big issue in the first quarter for the Storm, and they're down players. So is that going to be a factor come fourth quarter? We'll have to see.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now. 30-25, Riptide over the Storm. Back with second quarter action right after this.
What's in my hockey stick? Mine's full of fun and exploding with exercise. It's stuffed with self-confidence, packed with practice makes perfect, and loaded with leadership. I keep it taped together with teamwork. I think it's made of carbon fiber, though.
Give them the chance to discover what their equipment is made of. Give them the chance to play. Visit sportnovascotia.ca to find out how you can help.
Welcome back, everybody, to Charlottetown. Getting ready for second quarter action. Island Storm trailing the St. John Riptide 30-25. Peter Rutgazer along with Gord McNeely and the entire 5TV1 crew. And it's simple. Storm, they win this game. They go to the Atlantic Division Final. They lose. Have to play Game 5 on Tuesday. See some of the highlights from that first quarter, Gord.
Yeah, and Terrell Baines with a follow-up there. And St. John did a good job of attacking the basket. Listen, they're 1 for 10 from the three-point line. St. John is. So the Storm aren't much better. They're 3 for 10. So shooting definitely differently today. Rashad Wack coming off a screen, and he's got 8 points. Good start, but listen, this is the game that they have to run their offense through, get it in the post, and start attacking the basket. St. John has been doing a good job of running their stuff. Continue to do that. Get the best looks possible.
Talk about whack with 8 points. You've got Gabe Freeman leading the way for St. John with 9. Here's Mency. McQueen tries to back down his man. That was Jahi Carson, and then he finds Brian Addison.
Yeah.
Makes an easy bucket there.
And that was off a beautiful set play. Went from right to left, and then there's just,
turnover. Here comes McQueen, and he'll lay it in with no problem. So good start to this second quarter for the Riptide.
Yeah, 4-0 run. I mean, this is the thing, is get it to your point guard. See, you wonder, now Carson's being denied, and that's the difference, is Menzies denying Carson. Is Carson tired? Because he played a lot of minutes last night.
There's States. And he can't sink that one, but a foul against the Riptide.
Yeah, and Menzies' defense. Menzies a strong defender when he's defending off the ball. When Carson catches it, struggles. So what he's doing there is Menzies trying to defend or deny Jahia all over the floor and making it hard for him to catch it.
Brad States to the line. Brad States last night, 9 points, 4 rebounds. Came in early in last night's game and was very effective.
Yeah, there you go. So that's an important one. That'll bring his confidence up a bit.
He's got 2 fouls against him so far in this game. Addison, he just got away with that pass there to Anderson, almost picked up by Richter. Mency. Oh, nice move by Mency.
Boys. Yeah, very double clutch towards the basket. I mean, St. John's running better stuff tonight. They're really working. Last night, they had some point guard woes.
Here's Al Richter. Last night, that would have went in for him. Here's Mency again.
Yeah, he's feeling. You can tell just by the way he was dribbling, he was feeling a lot of confidence there. So they're going to have to do a better job of shutting him down. He's a very streaky player. And
Jahi Carson is fouled. And it looks like it'll be a foul against Mency.
And that's one way to get him out of the game, is try to get him in foul trouble. And like I said, Mency cannot defend that one-on-one. And good for Jahi Carson to realize that, hey, you know what? I've got to get going to the basket and make something happen. Fouled him on the body. You're checking the fouls for Mency. That'd probably be at least his second.
I think that's his first. We'll wait and see once this gets refreshed.
He had
here.
6 last night, too.
Yeah.
6 fouls.
He's got 11 points so far in this one, 2 boards. He's 4 of 10 from the field, Mency.
He's still walking around like he's a monk with his hands behind his back, like saying that I didn't touch anybody.
He's having a little chat there with one of the Storm fans. A friendly chat, I think. So it's the Riptide by 10.
Oh, you can.
Good moves. Yeah, he's feeling confident here. Can't hit that shot. Here's Terry Thomas. Terry Thomas getting away from 2 defenders. A.J. Stewart. Baines goes to the paint. Kicks it out, and
that was a good decision for him to attack the basket, hit Richter in the corner, but the foul is on the pass.
So a foul against St. John.
Goes from 5 to 4. Oh, geez, I'm open here, folks.
So an inbound here to Jahi Carson. And they're going to call Rashad Wack stepping out.
And just a little bit sloppy today. You know, just you won a big game last night. The emotions were flying. The building's, you're at home, but the building's not the same as it was last night. You got to, who's Al Stewart is, I think, that the team's kind of on and off leader. He's not playing today. Somebody's got to step up.
Long range shot by Anderson. Can't convert. Right now, the Storm shooting 36.4% from the field compared to 50% for St. John. Terry Thomas A.J. Stewart gets it
nice
down low for
mismatch.
Baines. Baines! Nice move there on McQueen.
Yeah, and McQueen is just undersized. He just, there was a mismatch and a switch, so. I mean, McQueen is 6'7", but Terrell Baines is just big and strong.
Here's McQueen. Kicks it out for Brown. Brown hitting the tray.
Nice line on that shot. We could see it from up here in the booth. It was just, oh, that looked perfect.
And a foul going against St. John.
McQueen. And he brought a lot of emotion in. See, nice penetration. Terrell Baines couldn't guard his penetration. Kicks it out. Watch the line on this ball. Whenever you're shooting, you want to just, first thing is get the line. All right? And then everything else, just take a deep breath and let it go. So
Coach Spahn unhappy with that last call against his team. Terrell Baines. Nice little hook shot by Baines.
yeah, and coach has got to, yeah, he's making a sub right away. McQueen cannot guard that. So a couple of big baskets by Baines is having a good game.
Here's McQueen.
And this is a set they run a lot.
Open inside for, that was Addison. Addison tried to get it to Brown. St. John gets the ball back again. Here's Campbell. Campbell for three.
Look at the patience on the St. John team. Like, Anderson passed up a shot, McQueen, and then they got the shot they were looking for. So, but that was off a broken play. So, I mean, who's going to win the battle of those broken plays?
Foul on Campbell.
And if you're just tuning in and you're seeing a lot of ticky-tack fouls for the NBL, it's because last night those weren't called at all, and the game almost got out of control. So the refs have come in and they've said no contact, no hand checks, and that's how they're calling it for St. John and for the Storm too as well.
7:42 remaining in the second quarter. Riptide, their season is on the line here. Here's Terrell Baines, long jumper, and he knocks it down.
And he's keeping them in this game. I mean, he's got 12 points, I do believe. Yeah, that's probably 10 points there. So really strong first. I'd keep going to him.
10-point lead now for the Riptide. Here's Campbell. Jahi Carson, that's fierce defense from Carson. And the shot clock runs out on St. John. Fierce defense from number one.
Yeah, and he's made a few defensive plays that we haven't spoken about on the broadcast, but a couple little things that are really, really key for him is his hands, and he's getting in there and making it hard for St. John. So does he have enough gas offensively here after the performance he put on last night?
Here's Jahi for three. Bounces right to A.J. Stewart. Rashad Wack going up against Anderson and then loses control, and that will be St. John ball. So Island Storm just out of sync.
Yeah, a little bit. But Anderson's defense there, that was world class on Rashad Wack. So I mean, he's really come to play. He's got it on the right side, streaking in. See what he does. Just a little bit out of sync. And St. John has just said, hey, you know what? We're going to run offenses. And that's been the difference in this game. The Storm are only running offenses out of timeouts for one or two plays, and then it becomes a high pick situation. So they've got to get out and call something and make sure they run through it.
Brown with the inbounds. Here's Commons. This is that shot completely. Terry Thomas. He'll hold things up here. Looking for options. Double team. Baines is going to move into the paint. Baines. Yes. Go back to Baines, like you were saying. He's got the hot hand now for the Storm. He's the only one really that has the hot hand.
But I didn't think he could penetrate off the three-point line like that. That's great. I mean, go back to him. Keep going to him. Put so much pressure on St. John team.
Here's Commons with a floater. Loose ball, and now Terry Thomas back the other way. Rashad Wack off the iron. Thomas follows up with a rebound.
Terry Thomas sticking around, getting an offensive rebound, putting it back in. So that was a big basket for him because I think he's got 5 points in the game. So that'll be his 5th point. So to get him going would be really good for the Storm this juncture in the game.
St. John swing it around. Brown, nothing but air on that one. And, oh no, that's not going to be, I thought it was going to be Storm ball.
You look at this penetration. Commons isn't ready for Baines' penetration, and he could have dunked that. He just was like, where's everybody going?
So
really playing well.
Yeah, Terrell Baines having a great game number 4. Okay, time for us to step out, pay some bills. 5:24 remaining in the second quarter. It's the Riptide 44, Storm 38. Back to Charlottetown right after this.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Island Storm basketball on 5TV1 is brought to you by Centennial Auto Group, official vehicle provider of the Island Storm. One family, one customer at a time since 1979. Peter Rutgazer alongside Gord McNeely and the 5TV1 crew. Game 4 of this Eastern Division semifinal series between the Island Storm and the Riptide. Storm lead the series 2-1. However, they trail here in Game 4 with 5:24 remaining in the second quarter, 44-38. And Jaheed Carson having a conversation with the official. He'll try this inbounds pass once again.
These extended conversations are hilarious.
Yeah. We saw a lot of them last night.
Oh, he's going to...
Let's see, what's this call here?
Whoa. I don't know what that was.
I don't know what that was either. So we've seen a couple of head scratchers here.
My.
Oh, that's a circus shot right there by Anthony Anderson.
Wow. Shot clock going down and hit that. Wow, he's just a world-class player.
Now, that pass out of the reach of Baines.
Says it went off of Freeman.
Joe Salerno is saying that was a 2, not a 3.
No, that's definitely a 2. That was definitely a 2. They're talking about the Anderson shot where he was leaning in. And we can
let's see this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we see it again? I don't know if we can. Well, we're. Whoa, geez.
I think that's a 3.
Really?
What do you think?
Yeah. Wow, that was great
close.
Camera work and replay action. So
47-38, and there's a hard foul on Baines by Freeman.
Yeah, and you know, Baines, look at this play. Like 1-2, power up, and the foul's going to go on Freeman too. So that's a double bonus kind of play.
Joe Salerno still talking to the officials about that Anthony Anderson shot. He still contends it was a 2.
Yeah, and I mean he's gonna watch the tape over and see it, and I don't even. It was that close. I thought
you
it was.
You don't think it was close?
No. When I first saw him go, I was like, oh, you know, it's definitely a 2. But watching the replay, that was probably a 3.
Yeah.
No, you know, I talked about the FIBA rules about this last night, and what he's saying is they're going to call that shot in. And nobody knows the rules, the FIBA rules. I guess if the ball is, if you just don't put your hand up through the cylinder, you can play it. So, I mean, I don't know if that was a goaltend or not. So.
Okay, it could be a very interesting day here with the officials. We've had some head scratchers here. Good follow-up by Aaron Brown.
Yeah. Those are the plays that keep you in games, and Aaron Brown really working on the glass. It's starting to get a little more physical as we see the game progress.
Whack to Baines in his office in the corner. And Terrell Baines, wow, he loves being in the corner right there. He knocks him down. He makes it look easy.
Listen, he's 7 for 7 from the floor. So the kid is got 16 points, 7 for 7. I mean, that's fantastic. Keep feeding him.
Anderson, and they're going to call a travel.
Wow. I mean, Terrell Baines is just get him in good position and feed him, because now he's hitting his outside jump shot, inside. I mean, run him at the point if you want. He can't miss.
7-point lead now for the Riptide. Nice move by Jahi. Gets a step to Richter for 3. And Al Richter doesn't have the hot hand like he had last night.
No, but that's a good look, and he'll figure that out as the game goes along. It's just short. I think he shot his first one long. So, I mean, just trying to figure out that distance.
Commons.
Look at the defense. Baines is doing it too on defense.
Oh, long 3 by Commons. Whoa. From way downtown.
And he'd missed a few too. I didn't really like the way he was shooting, but I mean, geez, that was for depth too. Commons that's a huge shot for St. John.
Commons, an NBL Canada veteran. 24 points last night. And the Storm come right back.
And smart play by Jahi Carson just to dump it to his big man and says, hey, you know what? Go to work. He's playing like Kevin Durant out there.
52-44 for the Riptide. Late stages of the second quarter. Anderson for Brown. They're going to say that Anderson stepped out.
No, they're going to.
Is it a foul?
Say, I think that foul's on Jahi Carson. Yeah.
Oh,
so and you know what?
Carson with a foul here. Okay.
I was watching that because the help side has to come down on that play where they penetrate from the right and they'll try to dump it to the post player on the left. They'll try to get this penetration and dump it right here. Jahi comes along and boop, you know, he plays musical chairs there with him for a little bit, and that's a foul. So, but not the end of the world, because it would have been a layup if he would have got his hands on that. So, getting a little bit better at that play.
Here's Mency. Brown shouting out some directions here. Brown off the glass and in.
Whoa.
And Al Richter, he gets knocked down. He wants a foul.
There's a couple guys falling there on that play on the way down. Great shot by Brown. Use the glass. That's underrated. Look at this. Baines.
Baines and Stover with the hack. So now 54-44 for the Riptide.
You got 2 minutes here for the Storm to cut into this lead. You want it to be about 4 points going into halftime. You know, you're not playing well, but you're kind of putting all your weight on Terrell Baines' shoulders, and he's really producing. He hasn't missed.
He makes the first of 2.
And the Storm are doing a good job of feeding him. Like, you got to feed him and make sure that he gets it. He's drawn a lot of fouls on the St. John team, so, you know, got to thank your big man, you know. That's good minutes, good work.
And you've got A.J. Stewart in foul trouble, so he's going to see a lot of time here. Baines.
Good stop there. Yeah, you got to feed your big man.
Inside for Allison. Jumper's no good. There's Baines. He tried to tip it, but it's going to be Riptide ball here. Anthony Anderson kicks it out. Here's Mency. Mency drains that 3 ball. And now we've got a Riptide player down.
Oh, no.
Not too sure who that is. Is that Addison? No, Addison's on the bench. That's Brown? That's Brown.
Yeah. Aaron Brown.
So he seems to be okay. He'll just have to try to shake that off. And here's this shot here by Mency.
Just rolled his ankles. Rolled his left ankle. And if you're wondering, most of these athletes, they get taped before the game. So they get taped, they go out, and the extra tape provides stability for your ankle. But what happens is, as you get playing and you go through warm-up and you're in the game, it gets wet. And the tape starts to lose its, function. So that's probably what happened there, is just... Whoop.
And right now, you have St. John. They're shooting 48.8% from the field. Island Storm 45.9%. Turnover situation, 5 turnovers for St. John, 4 for the Storm. What's been the big difference in this game?
Well, St. John has an offense that they typically run. You'll probably see it here where they come down, they dump it into a high post player, the other high post player sets a screen, and then it turns into what's called flex. So some of the high school coaches use it a lot, a flex kind of situation. So they run a flex cut off that, and the whole time they're looking to get the ball back to Anderson to penetrate on one side and then find his shooters on the other side. So it's kind of a weaving kind of in and out offense, and they're running it very well today. And the Storm are reactive instead of proactive on their defense. So that's really been, you'll probably see it the next time down, but St. John's doing that, and the Storm really aren't. They're kind of riding on the backs of Terrell Baines to keep them in this game. And it's been working to a certain point, but everybody needs to get playing a little bit stronger.
Oh, nice follow-up there by Mike Allison.
You can do it that way.
Here's Commons wide open. Gets it inside for Stover. Back to Commons, little jumper. And Allison can't get his hands on it. Now Anthony Anderson from long range. Allison, this time he gets the rebound.
Yeah. Big minutes for Mike Allison.
Under a minute now in the first half. And that's going to be Riptide ball.
Watch this follow-up. Mike Allison's coming in from the high post. Watch this. That ball really should have gone in, but it doesn't. But Mike Allison's going to put it in. Yeah, big dunk. Important play for the Storm right there.
Former University of Maine Black Bear, Mike Allison. 38 seconds remaining.
And here's that flex cut I was telling you about. Watch. See, the flex cut comes out. They're looking for this.
There's this Mency. He missed. Terry Thomas with speed back the other way. Thomas lost it, gets it back again. Jahi Carson says, everybody just relax a bit here. Let's set something up.
There's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Jahi going up against Mency. Outside for Baines in the corner. Baines misses that one. Loose ball. Al Richter puts up the 3, short. And that was close. That was Anderson. Let it go from mid-court and just missed. So there you have it at the half, 57-48 for the Riptide over the Storm. I'm wondering, emotionally, is this Riptide, or excuse me, Storm team kind of drained a little bit? That was a very emotional game last night.
Yeah, well, they missed that bench play with Akeem Ellis and Al Stewart coming in and providing that pop. So they're a little bit of leadership issues there with those two guys out of the lineup. But they'll figure it out. In the third quarter was their weakest quarter last night. I think it's going to be their best quarter tonight.
Okay, the Riptide lead this one 57-48. We'll take a break. We'll come back with our halftime report. You're watching NBL Canada basketball action on 5TV1. Back with more here in Charlottetown right after this.
What's in my hockey stick? Mine's full of fun and exploding with exercise. It's stuffed with self-confidence, packed with practice makes perfect, and loaded with leadership. I keep it taped together with teamwork. I think it's made of carbon fiber, though.
Give them the chance to discover what their equipment is made of. Give them the chance to play. Visit sportnovascotia.ca to find out how you can help.
Being part of an Easter Seals camp has really shaped who I am today. My dream is to see every kid in Canada living with a disability go to an Easter Seals camp so they can experience what I have experienced. See ability in disability. See the difference? Be the difference.
Text Easter to 45678. Make your $10 donation today.
When I was a kid, wherever we went by pedal bike. Just imagine pedaling your bike every day, going to Carpoon to Lanson Meadows. We've been all over the place here. We went in every nook and cranny and climbed across the roof and hung on the beam. You know what young fellas like. When this is here, you come and explore. My character is Ragnar, and my role is a blacksmith. Talk about where the Vikings got their iron and smelt it down and turn it into nails. The Vikings. Yeah, I think they're still here.
Welcome back, everyone, at the half here of this Eastern Division semifinal series between the Storm and the Riptide. Storm lead the series 2-1. They trail, though, in this game. St. John in front by a score of 57-48. Over the years, there have been some great athletes to attend Dalhousie University, and recently, Aresa Lalani talked to a couple of inductees of Dalhousie's Sports Hall of Fame. Here now is Champions Untold.
Paul and Eric Villeneuve are champions. The brother duo were stars during their varsity days as Dalhousie Tigers. Years later, they have been recognized for their efforts and are giving back to their communities.
All right, I'm here with Eric and Paul Villeneuve, who are Hall of Famers, the first Hall of Famers on Champions Untold. Thank you guys so much for joining us. So let's start with the memory of last year when you were inducted in the Hall of Fame. How did it feel?
Oh, it was pretty special. It was a shock. Certainly wasn't anything I would have ever expected. I remember getting the call from Tim Maloney, the athletic director, and telling me that we were being inducted. So it was a special time. Certainly our mom was pretty excited about that. So yeah, it was great.
Same thing. I was really surprised. There are a lot of great players that came before us that I would have thought maybe would have got the call before I would. I'd put Paul ahead of me too. But yeah, it was a pretty special honor, but I thought it was pretty neat for the two of us to happen at the exact same time. We played 3 years together at Dal, so yeah, it was pretty neat.
Now, you're the younger brother. Why did you decide to come play at Dal?
A couple of reasons. We have some family connections here in Nova Scotia and Antigonish, so we used to spend some time down there in the summers. And then Paul and I both played a lot of volleyball in high school. Paul was recruited by our coach at the time, Al Scott. And so I got to know a few of his teammates over the years, and then when I was coming out of high school, I was recruited by Al, so it was kind of a natural thing to follow along in Paul's footsteps.
So what was it like when you were getting recruited by Al Scott for Dalhousie?
Oh, it was great. You know, it was a great program. Still is a very good program here. Now was one of the best coaches in Canada. So, you know, like Eric mentioned about the family connections to Nova Scotia, I knew that the Maritimes would be a good fit. So it was great. And, you know, the program had a history of excellence. And as Eric said, many, many great players who played here. So it was, and, you know, Halifax is a great city. Dal's a great school. So it was a perfect fit.
Now, Halifax has clearly captured your guys' heart, so how come you guys decided to stay here?
Well, I actually moved back to Ottawa for a few years after I finished at Dal, and always kind of wanted to come back to Halifax. A lot of our friends that we made over the years that were sticking around Halifax. So a job came up and Paul was here and a lot of buddies were here, so it was kind of a natural thing to move back. I guess this is where my heart always was.
Well, you know, when my time here was done, you made a lot of connections over the years with people within the community and the business community, etc. And it was probably easier to find a job here than it would have been going back to Ottawa after 5 years in the Maritimes. So I was able to get a job. I moved to Toronto with work for about a year and a half, but came back. Because, as Eric mentioned, this is where my heart was, and didn't want to be anywhere else. This place grows on you, and you know, I'm a lifer now.
Leaving the varsity life behind is a different story for everyone, but some athletes find ways to stay involved.
It was tough because it becomes such a part of your life, the training, the camaraderie, you know, everything to do with the sport. But you know, when I finished, Eric was still on the team, and a lot of my former, you know, teammates were still there, so I stayed involved with the program and hung out with the guys and helped out with the team where I could. You know, I think it's a good program that way, where everybody tends to stay involved and you know, keep supporting the program, keep contributing to it.
I did kind of a gradual transformation out of school. I did my first 4 years, and then I ended up traveling for a year in Europe, or for about 4 months, with a good friend who was also a teammate of ours. And I just didn't feel like I was quite done here at Dal, so I came back and had my 5th year at Dal. And then I moved back to Ottawa to, like I said, to work for a few years, and then came back, and as Paul did, I got involved with coaching. I helped Dan Oda coach the team for 3 or 4 years, and then kids started arriving, and there wasn't as much time for that, but you know, still like to stay involved and watch the games and stay connected with the program.
So speaking of that kind of involvement in sport, why were you motivated to start coaching? Because, you know, not all players do that. What was your motivation behind that?
I guess I just always loved the game, and I love being around the team. You know, I've been playing team sports my whole life, and yeah, I just had such a great time when I was a player, and just, you know, the camaraderie and the team atmosphere and the university itself. I just had such a positive experience over my 5 years as a student athlete that it was just something I always wanted to do, was to sort of stay with it any way I could.
These Hall of Famers made their mark in their sport as athletes and coaches, but now they're taking their experiences and finding ways to give back.
I coach hockey right now in the Shabukto Minor Hockey Association here in town. I'm on, for our local MLA, I'm on the executive for the local riding association, and I used to be on the executive with Kids Help Phone down here. Not anymore with that, but you know, life's busy, as Eric said, with kids and with work and with everything, but it's good to give back. You can always make time. There's always time for things, and I make it, and I'm glad to do it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
What's in my hockey stick? Mine's full of fun and exploding with exercise. It's stuffed with self-confidence, packed with practice makes perfect, and loaded with leadership. I keep it taped together with teamwork. I think it's made of carbon fiber, though.
Give them the chance to discover what their equipment is made of. Give them the chance to play. Visit sportnovascotia.ca to find out how you can help.
It's packed to the rafters in the Edmonton Arena. Everyone is feeling...
There's off the beaten path. And then there's this place. Newfoundland and Labrador.
It's packed to the rafters in the Edmonton Arena. Everyone is feeling the pressure on the Grabs as they await the American champs. Here's the Cleveland favorite Knits now, and boy, do they look impressive.
Look at their uniforms. I bet you could sure run in smart shorts like those.
Not that. Look, world champs, my eye.
Grads, we don't play for glory. We play the game for the game's sake. So tonight, you're going to earn that title by playing your game. Teamwork, passing. Let's show them what it means to play the Grads.
Grads were champions for 25 years. The record of 502 wins and only 20 losses is unmatched in all of sport.
Hi, Quinn.
When Nana visits, everyone's happy to see her.
We all know how quickly kids can get into things, and that's why we keep poisons locked up. But have you ever considered what's in your purse? Things like hand sanitizers, tobacco, coins, and medication are all poisoning risks for small children. That's why we should keep handbags out of reach.
It's a simple habit that will help keep our kids safe.
Yeah! For more information on preventing children's injuries, visit childsafetylink.ca.
There's nothing faster than light. Fiber optic uses light to deliver the internet. It's the fastest internet technology, so you can share, learn, stream, or do whatever you want at the speed of light. And only Bell brings fiber optic internet right to your home.
What do you think of this one? Too small?
Yeah, I haven't worn that one in months.
And those pants look a little too short. Let's help other kids in our community and give these items to Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Big Brothers Big Sisters can turn your donations of clothing, shoes, and linen into funding for youth mentoring programs. To learn more about how Big Brothers Big Sisters is making a difference to kids in your community, visit bigbrothersbigsisters.ca.
Way to go, girls. See how easy it is to help someone else?
Welcome back, everybody, to Charlottetown at the half, 57-48 for the Riptide over the Storm. Island Storm basketball on 5TV1 is brought to you by Insight Brand and Marketing Studio. Experience Insight. So the Riptide trying to hold their season together. A victory here this afternoon for St. John. They would extend this semifinal Atlantic Division series to a fifth and deciding game, which would take place on Tuesday at Harbor Station in St. John. Let's give you some stats here now. You've got the St. John Riptide. They're shooting 45.8% from the field. Island Storm 43.9% from the field. In terms of turnovers, both teams with 5 apiece. As far as the individuals, you have Terrell Baines. He has just simply been red hot. The Storm having some foul difficulties with some of their big men. And Terrell Baines has stepped up. He has 20 points on 8 of 9 shooting. He is 4 of 4 from the free throw line. Also for the Storm, Rashad Wack, he has 8 points. And Jahi Carson with 7 points, 2 of 7 from the field. For St. John, leading the way for the Riptide, Darren Mency, who has shot the ball very well in this game. 14 points so far after a half of play, 5 of 13 from the field, 2 of 7 from three-point range, and 2 of 2 from the free throw line. The big men, Anthony Anderson, who had 27 points last night, only 5 so far, and then you have Gabe Freeman. He has 9 points. So some of the individuals in this game. Gord, what do you expect to see in this second half? Let's start from the perspective of the Island Storm.
Well, they need to start running some better sets. Get the ball moving. Try to get Jahi Carson catching the ball off of some action, and then taking the ball hard to the basket. For St. John, keep running through your offense. Give Anderson a little bit more of a touch and try to get his offense going. But the Storm have to go to work pretty soon. Like you're in a position to close out this series, and they're just not playing like it thus far.
So it'll be Jahi Carson, States, Ritger, Baines, and Wack to start this second half. And Baines, wow.
Yeah.
What a first half he had. I mean, without Baines, I mean, they'd be in a whole heap of trouble here.
Yeah, that was the best half of basketball he's played. He did everything for this team. Listen, what the Storm need to do, too, is they're going to have to start to pick it up physically. You have to win the battle of the boards right now. Start off this third quarter. That's what your goal is. Out-rebound St. John and really work, and try to get this game back to even to get to the fourth.
And St. John, what would you like to see from them? I mean, they don't have to make too many adjustments, do they?
I'd like to see Mency get a few more touches and get his feet set. And I think that if he can hit 2 or 3 more shots here, this game could be over. So, I mean, I like him. And then, Freeman, really just try to get him going offensively again. And then just keep working the ball around like you are.
There's Anthony Anderson. Screen comes over for him to Freeman. Fakes the shot. Kicks it out. Here's Commons. And he misses.
Yeah, so good look. States has to stay down on that closeout. Just stay down. Work your principles. Your hips go down. Hands go up. Take away the shot. And then you can't give Freeman that much of an open look going to the basket. And listen, if Al Richter can start to get a look or two, that's really the difference in this game, is that Al Richter shot like 7 for 11 from 3 last night. He's 0 for 4 or 5 thus far.
Storm turned the ball over, and they pay for it as Campbell comes back the other way with a lay-in.
The shooting's really dried up. And it's a tribute to St. John. They watched the video last night and said, Richter doesn't hurt us.
And again, another turnover. Solid defense here. That time Commons knocked the ball out of the hands of Wack. Crowd wants some D. See if they can get it.
Yeah. Spency against Wack.
Freeman going to try it from downtown. And he sinks that one.
And that's a massive shot. I mean, he can hit that shot. How do you defend a player like Freeman?
Oh, nice bounce pass there to Terrell Baines. Can't get the bucket, and then he gets hurt.
Yeah, he's grabbing his wrist or his elbow. Listen, you cannot let this 14-point lead right now. You can't let it balloon here. And, you know, go back to Baines. And really good. It's just a simple pick and roll. And he rolled perfectly under control. And he's a good foul shooter. I think he shoots about 80% from the foul line. So
Baines now with 21 points in this game as he leads all scorers in the contest here in game number 4.
And so difficult. How do you stop Freeman when he's hitting the 3? He can do everything else. So just everybody's got to play defense here. You got to play. This screen right here is hurting the Storm too. See the initial screen for Anderson, set a flex screen, and then get it back to Anderson. And they do it. That's what we were talking about the first half, and they do it very well.
4 on the shot clock. Mincy. And nobody there to cover Commons, and that is an easy bucket.
And that's because that offense has you moving and circling like you're Michael Jackson on the dance floor, and you lose your checks.
What about the weekend?
Yeah.
The weekend on the dance floor?
The weekend on the dance floor, slow and smooth, and you're spinning around there. He's hitting the high falsettos, and bang.
So 64-51 lead for the Riptide.
And you'll see it here. It starts again. And this time they can just set a pick with Freeman, who's just hit a 3.
And he hits another one. And Gabe Freeman heating up to start this third quarter.
And the Storm have to decide if they want to shut it down right now or if they're going to come out and play that tougher. You cannot allow him to hit 2 threes in a row.
There's Terrell Baines. Back the other way, Mincy.
And I think Joe Salerno's going to call it. Yeah, he's got to call a timeout, and this is it.
And another issue here, this time for Coach Spahn. He feels that they've been robbed at least 1 point on that 3-point play there by Gabe Freeman. Okay, so we'll get it all sorted out when we come back. Riptide pulling away now here in the third quarter, up 69-51. Back with more right after this.
What's my soccer ball? Well, the air inside, it has superpowers. There are tons of little teachers inside that help me learn about things like collaboration and perseverance. With each kick, those powers get a little stronger. I think it's made out of polyurethane, though.
Give them the chance to discover what their equipment is made of. Give them the chance to play. Visit sportnovascotia.ca to find out how you can help.
Did you know falls are the #1 reason children in Atlantic Canada are hospitalized? Help make your home safer for kids of all ages by using or installing a window stop. Screens are not enough to prevent falls. Protect small children by using a screw-mounted gate at the top of the stairs. Be careful not to trip over your pets and keep clutter and toys off of the stairs and floors.
We can all help our home be a safer place.
Island Storm basketball on 5TV1 is brought to you by Shamrock Trust, a proud partner of the Island Storm with locations in Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. Welcome back to Charlottetown. 69-51 in favor of the Riptide. Now, some confusion here. Coach Spahn went over to the bench as assistant, and I think they were debating whether they should have an extra point here. I'm not too sure if the...
Yeah, he's still talking to the...
He's gone over to the scores table once again.
I'm not sure because I was just kind of... Yeah, you can debate that. He's not even looking at the play, so... And the crowd's encouraging the Storm on. But there's a nice play. Again, keep going back to Baines. Yeah, G's trying to get this place going, and they really need to. He attracts so much attention, and now they're screening with. See, St. John's doing it with Anderson and Freeman, who are world-class players, and Jahi Carson's doing it with himself and Terrell Baines, who's playing the best out of anybody on the court. So they're trying to. Both coaches are trying to make this a two-man game. the team that defends that two-man game better is going to win this game. And thus far, it has been St. John.
St. John coaching staff going over the scores table again to complain. And
they must have called it a 2.
Called it a 2, but it clearly, Gabe Freeman clearly hit it from downtown, a three-point play. So that's rankled the St. John team.
Here's the screening. See this?
Anthony Anderson, he gets fouled.
And that play right there, so that's option number 1 off of that play, and St. John does it well. Listen, if you're the Storm, you've worked on this in practice over and over again. You know what's coming. You see, and everybody's kind of out of position. He passes to the right and comes off. So they send their 4 and their 5 guys high. He passes it to the right. It goes off the 5 guy on the other side, and that's the start of the flex. It just gets into flex in a different way. So, Storm, come on. You got to make sure that you defend the first 3 screens on that perfectly.
Riptide 71, Storm 54. Terry Thomas down the lane. A little too strong off the glass.
I think he was about a foot away from his normal takeoff zone. So we'll see right now. This will be, so they're running 2 screens for Anderson, who's got the ball, and this is the rotations right here. They did it a bit better.
Here's Mincy way downtown. And Darren Mincy is just knocking him down. I mean, you could put a blindfold on him. He's going to hit him from way out there. Yeah. The way he's been playing here today.
And that's what we talked about at halftime. He was the key, and I looked at him as saying, if he hits some shots, this game is done.
It's a 20-point lead now for St. John. And there is Terry Thomas getting that loose ball.
Yeah, Brad State's kept it alive. So watch the screens here. See how well they defend this. So it goes to the right, and he goes off the left. Here comes the, okay.
Shadwack dives for it.
And we'll watch that for the rest of the night because that's a nice little offense right there. And St. John does it really, really well. So watch this. States gets up, keeps the ball alive, and then Thomas is there.
Brad States has been doing that all season long, those little tips, doing the little things. Here's Terry Thomas now, moves in, nice finger roll.
And you see what that does is that he's in there, gets a basket, and his confidence goes up, and now he's penetrating. So here's the screening action.
Look at Anderson. Anderson, the hoop and the harm. Wow.
And really tough to defend that. He's so good because he's strong, he's physical, he's low to the ground, patient, and he's got a world-class handle. So, I mean, there's not much you can do against a player who's a former MVP of the league, and you see why.
And he converts on the three-point play. So Storm need to find some answers here. It's been basically all Riptide in this third quarter. Terry Thomas, his 3 is no good. Mincy with the rebound. He'll hold it up a bit.
And you see Terry Thomas is guarding Anderson for his size.
Anderson, nice fake.
Finds the open guys.
Here's Gabe Freeman. Freeman with a fake. Little teardrop. And that will be St. John ball.
And St. John's playing well because they could get whatever they wanted on that play. So this is a really different team than we've seen here than the last night. They really went and did their homework last night. They've come back better.
Ball movement has just been excellent from St. John.
Yeah, they're just relaxed and doing the little things.
Oh, and that's an easy bucket right there. Missed assignment defensively by the Storm.
And that's it was a good out-of-bounds play, and just guys stopped communicating with each other.
And Jahi and A.J. Stewart, they have their wires crossed. Has not been a great third quarter for the Storm here.
No, difficult game, and you've just got to make sure you get back and you're playing together. There's the flex screen again. See, there's two guys, there's two Storm players right there in no man's land. So definitely some breakdowns happening.
Here's Al Richter. Off the glass and in.
But there's a ton of time left in this game. If they can get this close to the 10-point mark before going into the fourth quarter, they give themselves a shot.
Try to find a way to cut into this lead.
Look at the defense. Wax right on Anderson. Does not want him to catch the ball.
And look, there's Mincy wide open once again. Good look for him. Can't sink it. And Jahi Carson hits the deck. And a foul against the Riptide.
And that's why a player like Menzie is so important for the St. John team, because Anderson does the work, Freeman does the screening action, and Menzie just stands in the corner and pops threes all day. And when you can shoot it like that.
So Riptide, they lead this one 79-60. We're going to step out, come back with more NBL playoff action right after this on 5TV1.
Signor Caboto! On deck, sir. You won't believe your eyes.
Captain, over here! You must see this!
Look at the gap down there. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Amazing. So Codfish, so thick they stayed the progress of our ship. Your fleets have no further need of Iceland. Fish is enough to feed this kingdom, oh sire, until the end of time.
Welcome back to Charlottetown. It is the St. John Riptide trying to force a Game 5 in this Atlantic Division semifinal. They're in front by 19 over the Storm, 79-60. And the Storm trying to figure some things out here, Gord.
Yeah, they're really missing their two guys, Akeem Ellis and Al Stewart. And everybody else is kind of, when that happens, guys are playing in different positions and they're not playing with each other as much. So, listen, you combat that by communicating and making sure that you're alive and jumping to the ball. They're not doing that thus far in this basketball game. So, listen, you're down 19. Get this thing to within 10 points here going into the fourth quarter, and anything can happen.
Akeem Ellis for the Storm, and Lou Famatimi. There is Terry Thomas. He gets two. They were suspended. Came off the bench during an altercation on the floor, and then, you're the Storm. You're without your veteran, Al Stewart. He got into a situation with a fan in Game 2, and the suspension came down today for Al Stewart. Here's Mincy, and that's an air ball. We haven't seen that from Mincy here today. Commons fade away, and Commons, he's had a very good game.
He has, and that's off an offensive rebound. So when you're down 17, you can't give up offensive rebounds as well. So
here's Whack, and just nothing going for the Island Storm here.
No, good look for Whack. Shot it maybe a little bit fast. So he's 2 for 7 from that area. But he can get hot. Al Richter can get hot. Just get your feet set, hip square, and perfect rotation on the basketball. It'll go in.
Darren Mincy with 19 points. Friedman with 17. And St. John coming back the other way, and a foul assessed to Rashad Whack.
And, the Storm are not passing the basketball very. Watch this hip check. Just going for the ball and just said, I'm not going to bother trying to get out of the way. So definitely a foul.
So it was saying Mency has 19. You got Commons with 12, 17 for Gabe Freeman, 10 for Anthony Anderson. Anthony Anderson also with 6 rebounds in this game. So you're getting, everybody is hitting for this St. John team.
Yeah, and they did it following, you know, their coach's offense. The coach said, listen, we've got a great offense, run it. And they did it, and it would be hard to defend an Anthony Anderson anytime, but when he's coming and setting these hard, low screens on you on a flex screen, and he sets screens very well. Because in basketball, if you set a screen, and, you know, a lot of players have made a living, if you set a screen and you set it well, you're going to be open. So the screener usually is the person that can get a shot, get the next penetration. So for the young players out there, set your screens hard, and then you'll be open. And you'll have a long basketball career.
Best 2 guys ever probably to that pick and roll type of play, Stockton Malone.
Stockton Malone, yeah, because Malone was so big, you had to go around one side. You couldn't go over the top on Stockton. If you went underneath, I mean, Stockton Malone can hit the jump, so they could do everything. They could do all facets of the game. For sure, Stockton Malone, Isaiah Thomas coming off some screens was very good in his day. Yeah, so there's pretty neat players that can. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Well, Jordan, just with whoever he wanted.
Well, yeah,
Bill
exactly.
Wennington, doesn't matter.
Here's Commons. That's an air ball. Whack the other way for the Island Storm. Terry Thomas. Thomas to Ritker. Can he get 3? No. And ball turned over once again.
It's just a little bit short, so legs on the second day for Al Richter on that 3.
Al Richter now 0 for 4 from three-point land. He was 8 of 13 last night.
Yeah, good look for him. And you know this place would have started to go crazy.
Terry Thomas, A.J. Stewart. Loose ball, Addison. He couldn't corral it and loses it.
I'd put Terrell Baines in and just put it in the post and, you know, keep feeding him and try to get it inside out. The Storm don't use a post very much, like a traditional post, and that's when you can get a lot of your shots out of that. So I'd bring Terrell Baines in and try to use that post a little bit more.
A.J. Stewart trying to get a step on Commons, and again, can't get the right bounces.
And this crowd is kind of stunned. It's kind of like you've been driving for 4 hours and you're in the back seat of a car and you just, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like in here.
That bench there, that bench shot of the Storm, they look kind of stunned. Like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
.157 remaining in the third quarter. And a foul on Richter.
Yeah, so it's just one of those games where there's not much to really cheer about. The Storm haven't really done anything to get this crowd involved.
Ooh, there was a hard screen there. I don't know if it was a screen. It was just Mency got his elbow up. And
Mency, that'll be his 3rd. That'll be the team's 5th.
Yeah. He's got his hands open there.
Yeah.
He's not checking to see if it's raining outside.
Yeah, a little bit of a forearm shiver.
Yeah. So we're just, every time the Storm get it back, we're kind of up here saying, is this the possession that things are going to happen?
It's the same thing with St. John in game number 2. You know, they played so poorly in the first half. You're just waiting for them to explode a little bit and get on a run, and never materialized. Jahi Carson, he's fouled.
Yeah, and about 4 minutes ago we said, listen, the Storm need to get this to within 10, and they just haven't really done it. It's just still a 20-point game. So
St. John foul number 6, Alex Campbell. That'll be his 5th.
So Gabe Freeman is going to come back in, and Jamal McQueen as Campbell goes out. He'll take a seat for a bit, and Commons, the veteran. And you've got Commons. He's got 14 points in this game.
we have a birthday in the house. Want to say happy birthday to Corey.
A couple other guys who do pick and rolls really well, like Russell Westbrook, James Harden in Houston, because they're going to the basket, they can shoot the basketball, and when they decide to go, they go so hard to put so much pressure on the defense. So we're seeing that play a lot tonight.
Oh, nice move by Rashad Wack.
Okay, now you need to stop. You need to get 2 or 3 stops here before the end of this quarter is done.
Anderson, Freeman, Mency. Small McQueen.
Didn't like the screen. McQueen turned, yeah.
So a foul on McQueen.
He turned and tried to screen him with his hips, facing the other way. The refs didn't like that.
1:19 remaining in the third. 83-64 for the Riptide.
Oh, good catch.
There's A.J. Stewart. That ball bounced around a little bit and came to A.J.
So that's one stop here. You got a minute left. Can you get another one right away and start to build on a couple of baskets here? Here's their set play. One screen done. Here comes the next one. You see the difference when look at the defense here on Anderson on the top of the screen.
That shot's no good. Wack has the rebound, 44 seconds. So they handle it a lot better on that situation. Here's Anthony Anderson. Moves in, no good. Comes right to Mency.
Gonna hold.
Freeman one-on-one with A.J. Stewart. Look at the moves by Gabe Freeman. Wow.
Yeah, that's super nice. What are you supposed to say?
Yeah, I mean, that's surgical right there. Gabe Freeman, 85-66. Jahi Carson misses, so the Island Storm leaving a lot of shots short, but give full credit to this St. John team, their season on the line, and they've come out here and everybody has made a contribution, everybody in sync, and they lead it by a score of 85-66. Okay, we're going to take a break right now. We'll come back with fourth quarter action right after this. You're watching NBL Canada playoff action on 5 TV1.
Is that 5 TV?
Oh, you know it, man.
With ultra-stunning 4K picture quality.
I love using Restart.
I use that all the time.
We love having Crave TV and Netflix right on it.
I'm having all my TVs set up wirelessly. It's amazing.
Can you imagine some people still don't have 5 TV?
I don't have it. Because I was living abroad.
With so many reasons to love 5 TV, it's time to make the switch to the best TV service.
Oh, sorry.
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 Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Welcome back to Charlottetown. Time now to show you the Alsco Kiss Off the Glass, and we're going to feature Al Richter.
Yeah, and just gets in tight. The three's not working. I'm just going to go in and say hello to the backboard right there. So Al Richter trying to get it done away from the three-point line and does it well. Finishes strong with his left hand. So congratulations. There's your Alsco Kiss Off the Glass.
Al Richter not having a big night. He gets credited for the Alsco Kiss Off the Glass overall, though just 4 points. And I think you can say the same thing for everybody on this Storm team. They're really having a problem shooting the ball and scoring it today, leaving some points on the floor.
I think it was just really fatigue, and St. John capitalized on that, and they just hit some shots at key times in the game. So it was just tough to get, like, we were just playing here. They're off the court last night at 10 o'clock, and they're back on today at 2. So both teams have to do it, but St. John just did it a little bit better today. There's their offense again.
Teardrop from Anderson didn't work, gets it back again.
Just out working there for the Glass, too. They ran a good play, nobody talked, and then they got the offensive rebound. So
Stewart, I don't know how he came out of the traffic there, gets it to McQueen, and Jamal McQueen drains it.
And that's what sometimes you'll hear announcers talk about second chance points is, and that's exactly what that was. So they got a second opportunity and scored.
Anthony Anderson. Oh, gets it stripped and then given away by Rashad Wack. Bounce pass. That's Gabe Freeman to Anderson, and the Vets team up for St. John.
Yeah, and fatigue leads to doubt, and doubt leads to poor play. And right now you got 10 minutes left to go. You're at home. You got to either try a zone. You got to try moving the ball. You got to just get yourself prepared. Listen, you're down 23 points at home. You got to fight for these last 10 minutes.
Gabe Freeman, all kinds of time. Finds iron, though, on that shot.
Starting to turn a little playgroundy in here, too.
Baines has been just the most consistent of the Storm players here today. He's got it going on.
Yeah, and he should have had more looks in that third quarter. The team should have really been trying to go to him, and it wasn't really the case. So 24 points. I mean, 26 points tonight.
Addison taking on A.J. Stewart, trying to back him down. Turnaround jumper. And here's Rashad Wack. Wack gets around Anderson, and Wack. A little out of control towards the end. Here's Mincy.
Nice defense by Thomas.
McQueen open. Oh, that was in and out. There's Addison. Addison's going to get called for a push.
No, it's going to go on Wack.
Going to go against Wack.
Just saw the ref looking towards for his number.
Is it me, or has it been a while since the Storm have scored a point here?
Well, outside of that jump shot by Terrell Baines here.
That's right, yeah.
It's not you, Peter.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Offensive foul on Freeman on the baseline.
So Gabe Freeman with that sly smile on his face.
Good job to capture that moment. The crowd started to cheer, and Freeman loves to play with the crowd in his home building or any other one too.
Terry Thomas shaking and baking here. Baines. Strong move, but again, leaving it short.
Yeah, McQueen did a good job there. Terrell Baines likes that matchup. He wants to go after McQueen.
9:03 remaining in the fourth quarter. Gabe Freeman, he wants to go into the paint. Stays with it. And now here's Al Richter for the Storm.
And I think Salerno's brought, he's got Jahi Carson on the bench. He needed a break. With Al Stewart off and Akeem Ellis off, Jahi did so much last night, and he needed a little break. So I'm not sure if you'll see him for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, 89-68 lead, 8:44 remaining.
And the Storm only have 4 players available on their bench, and Robert Norman hasn't played much, and Mike Allison didn't play last night. So really they're going with a 7-man rotation.
And it might be a good idea to just park Jahi on that bench,
yeah,
and get ready for game number 5 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
20-point lead now, 8:44.
And you're not going to want to miss that game. If you're watching this from St. John, get out to Harbor Station. Oh, I don't know if it's called Harbor Station.
It is.
Is it?
It
okay.
is still called Harbor Station.
I used to play there some games way back. But really nice facility. Get out and support that team because, wow, they really came in here and played 2 solid games, and they stuck together, and that's going to be a live Game 5.
You know, this St. John team, they could have, you know, I wouldn't say mailed it in, but they could have felt sorry for themselves after losing back-to-back games. They didn't play a very good game in game number 2, didn't shoot the ball very well, 33%, I believe. My memory serves me correctly from the field. And then yesterday, or last night, a real strong game. Didn't win it, and they came out here, they put it all together.
And Brad States was mixing it up with Freeman. And that's why the crowd's cheering. And Freeman will take a seat on the bench. He's hearing some sporadic calls like it's a U.S. political rally here.
And now he's talking to the fans, and Gabe Freeman's got I think that's somebody with the St. John contingent that he's talking to. So Gabe Freeman with 5 fouls now.
Yeah, and he did a good job of last night and making sure that both teams didn't end up in a brawl. He was really like I said last night, a youth counselor worker at Camp Kumbaya. He had everybody playing nice there, but he's got that kind of leadership, right?
Yeah.
So some guys just have that, and he can back it up with his play.
And you look at Gabe Freeman down on the bench during the game. It's almost like there's a third coach on this team.
Yeah.
You know, he's well respected, gives a lot of advice to his players. So when you're a head coach, it's nice to have that coming from one of the players.
Yeah, you hope someday he coaches because he's got a lot to give back to the game. Could teach some kids and make it fun for some kids.
Terry Thomas trying to make it fun for the Storm. 89-72. 8:03 remaining in regulation. Storm would have to do something miraculous here. Anderson, Addison. He'll get it back again and defers to Anthony Anderson. Here comes a screen from Addison. Commons, States, he gets a push from Commons.
Nice job.
As Commons giving the rookie a little forearm.
Yeah, States knew he wanted to go right.
Whack misses.
And that's the difference, right? 3 for 21. And you know what's funny about that? I remember when the Storm were 3 for 10 shooting threes. Now they're 3 for 21. So it just wasn't going.
And there's a foul against.
But I mean, mind you, the
Storm,
the St. John team is 9 for 34. So, you know, those aren't great percentages from the 3, and you see that on a second and a back-to-back game. The ball's just not dropping.
So Whack gets called with the foul as Anthony Anderson was in the process of shooting. So that'll be 3 for Anderson. And Whack has to come out. Jahi Carson is going to come in, so Jahi's going to play a little bit here.
You know, just getting guys to work on a little bit of what they want to work on. 20-point game. I think this one's pretty much in the books.
Terry Thomas, fade away, misses. Has not been a great day from the field for the Storm. McQueen and States fights with Terry Thomas for that rebound. Jahi Carson turns it over, back the other way. Here's Anthony Anderson. And a little tip there from McQueen, but they give the bucket to Anderson. Richter. Tough
So a little
afternoon
bit
for Richter.
Well, I was just watching his mechanics there, and he's just not finishing right up through that shot. So there's just at the end, when you start to lose confidence, everything just gets a little bit shorter and tighter. So you've just got to finish. If he's watching this tomorrow, just finish up. Just you're one of the best shooters ever for the Storm program. Just finish up strong. Keep that hand as high as you can.
Foul against Anderson. Now, is it a lack of confidence or is it mental, not mental toughness, but mental tiredness? Trying to find words here.
Yeah.
For the Storm. Would that be the case?
It's
mental fatigue.
Mental fatigue is a little bit, but you see, mental fatigue, you can combat that with playing well, with getting to the foul line. You know, the ball's going in, you're still tired, but things are going well. If those shots don't start to go in, you get people questioning themselves and saying, well, geez, should I be passing it? So those type of doubt in basketball is an awful thing. You know, once you start to feel that, it's kind of contagious.
I was showing mental fatigue. They're trying to search for a word.
Yeah, exactly.
There's Terry Thompson. Terry Thomas trying to get everybody revved up in the building.
And this is what we were talking about. Who's going to provide that spark for the Storm when they needed it? And that's Terry Thomas wanted to be that guy, and he could easily be that guy. And he did that big, come on, everybody, because he's scoring. So his confidence rises instantly. And then he's like, yeah, come on, everybody, let's go. So they need a lot more of that. And then in the next couple games, like, see, he's pumped up.
So we're going to step out for a bit, folks. 5:18 remaining in the fourth quarter. It's been all Riptide here in this contest. 94-77 St. John over the Island Storm. We'll come back with more right after this.
What's in my hockey stick? Mine's full of fun and exploding with exercise. It's stuffed with self-confidence, packed with practice makes perfect, and loaded with leadership. I keep it taped together with teamwork. I think it's made of carbon fiber, though.
Give them the chance to discover what their equipment is made of. Give them the chance to play. Visit sportnovascotia.ca to find out how you can help.
Welcome back, everybody. Peter Ruckgazer, Gord McNeely, and the 5TV1 crew here in Charlottetown. 94-77 lead, St. John over the Island Storm here in game number 4. Storm on their way to forcing a 5th and deciding game on Tuesday in this Atlantic Division semifinal series. Here's Mency. Loose ball. Oh, and that's McQueen. He came over the top of, or knocked down, excuse me, Al Richter.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was, McQueen's a pretty tough kid. He says, it says on here that there's no university by his name, so, I mean, don't really know where he played, but, I mean, tough kid. He's hit some jump shots today, and I kind of like his game. He's just that wrapped up guy, and he's good for St. John, but so is Terry Thomas here. He's really trying to make some stuff happen here towards the end of this game. They're in a zone right now.
And that's a foul against the Storm.
This is what Terry Thomas does. He goes, oh, not going to go right. I'm going to go left for a bit and come back right.
The athleticism of Terry Thomas. I mean, we've seen it so many times this season, but it's worth saying again. His athleticism, that first and second step that he has, just phenomenal.
He has a little bit of Russell Westbrook in him. So Westbrook is just, when I decide to go, I'm going to go hard. And it's very hard to stop. So he reminds me a lot of like a Russell Westbrook. Can shoot the ball, can play, you know, triple-double guy. So if he can get hot here and do some stuff. See, there's another rebound. This is what we're talking about. He can put instant pressure on you. I would just take him going baseline right here. Forget that screen.
Oh, there you go from outside. So Thomas getting it going a little bit.
So things are starting to get a little bit interesting. If this zone can work, this is a 1-3-1 right here. Oh.
And a steal by Terry Thomas.
Off the court.
And he puts that down. So Terry Thomas is keeping the Storm alive here.
And we were looking for that spark for the Storm, and there it is right now. Now we're at a 10-point game, 11-point game. You know, anything can happen right now.
McQueen, he loses it. Another turnover. Good D by the Storm. Terry Thomas, Al Richter out the window. Wow, just like that.
Look at Thomas, he's pumped. He's going to say hello to some fans.
He wants his crowd on their feet.
Yeah, he's not quitting.
Wow, he has been a one-man army here over the last 3 or 4 minutes.
And we talked about it, Peter. You were talking about mental toughness, and confidence comes from putting the ball in the basket, and that's what Terry Thomas got. Once you start with that line, man, there's no stopping a player like Terry Thomas. That's what we talk about, streaky players, and Terry Thomas is that.
So there's boatloads of time here for the Storm. Riptide 94, Storm 85.
And look at this hand underneath. Whoops. Just causes enough to shake the ball loose. And then Thomas comes in, and this is a great pass, soft pass to Richter, which there might have even been a contact there.
The one thing that Coach Spahn told me before this series started, hey, this Storm team, they're always in games, you know, and he mentioned Terry Thomas, he mentioned Jahi Carson. Those guys with their skill, they're always going to keep this team in games. We saw it in game number 1. You know, this Storm team, they were down 12, 15 points in the fourth quarter. They came back and they made St. John sweat it out, and they're going to make them sweat it out here.
Well, this is close to like a 10-0 run right now. So we said it, we wanted them to go into the fourth quarter with this run.
Trying the press here.
So will they stick in the zone? Because the zone's really putting St. John to sleep here a little bit. So,
Mincy.
You know, the ball's not moving. There's only 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Oh, finger roll there by Commons as that shot clock was ticking down.
Mike Allison's got to do a better job on that. Like, for this point in this juncture in the game, like, you had him. You get that stop, and
Richter going baseline, and he's fouled.
That's perfect because the game clock stops. You got your best shooter going to the foul line, and you can set your full court defense.
That's the thing. You want to score as many points as you can with the score clock, with the clock, excuse me, stop.
Yeah, exactly. And you need stops down the other end.
And Al misses that one, the first of 2.
Just pushed it. Just needs to take his time. He's just moved his feet off the line pretty quick. There, he kept.
And misses both of them. That's tough there for the Storm.
Yeah.
2:49 left in regulation. 96-85. Storm need a stop here.
Good movement. St. John's being pretty patient.
Anderson. Jahi right up against him defensively. And no call. And the Tide get the ball back, but we got Commons down on the floor here. He's clutching his left knee.
Oh, man. I'm just hoping that that's a cramp in the back of his leg.
Let's see what happened here. Oh, twisted his. Oh, it's his knee that he's holding.
No, I really think, just watching that play, it might be a cramp because the humidity in here.
Yeah. Got Kevin Elliott of the Storm taking a look at that knee. And silence here in Charlottetown. 96-85 as his teammates come out. Everybody's coming out here to help out his man. Gabe Freeman wants the squeegee.
He's on the far side, jumps there, watch his left leg.
Yeah, I thought it was the ankle, but he's clutching the quad a little bit, upper part of his leg.
It could have been the contact with the floor there on the outside.
So he's being attended to at the St. John bench.
Yeah, and he's had a good game today, and fine young man. And I mean, I saw him after the game last night, and he was like, oh, he was just really competitive and he really wanted to win. So I mean, he's got a good spirit in him, and wishing him the best for that.
Commons, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists in this game. And the beat continues for St. John. Now 98-85. Terry Thomas, little floater. Terry Thomas, boy, he's come alive here in the fourth quarter.
You needed stops, and you lost.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a momentum there, and then they kind of lost it.
They're just taking too much time off the clock.
Whoa, look at the moves by Mincy, but can't convert, and
it's going to get a push off on Richter on Freeman.
So Freeman heading to the charity stripe. Or no, it's going to be inbounds. They've got fouls to give.
And so that's where you really miss Akeem Ellis in there, because Richter's played tough today, but he's always undersized in his position. So he's really a 2-guard, and he's playing the 3-guard, and it doesn't sound like much, but it's quite drastic when you have a Freeman on the other side. Oh my goodness.
And Al Richter very upset. He feels there should have been a foul against St. John. Instead, he's getting called.
Watch this. Their push there. Jumping for the ball.
Ooh.
And you know, if you remember, they got tangled up in an out of bounds play at the end of the game last night.
Last night, yes.
And I watched it over, and there was contact. Then Freeman kind of slid him under, like giving him like a half hug, and then just turned his hips on him. So, I mean, these guys are professionals. They know how to get away with stuff, you know, just a little bit here and there. And now you see, like, Freeman's working on his cha-cha-cha with the referees.
Gabe Freeman having a real animated conversation with the official, as if there would be any other kind of conversation with Gabe Freeman.
Yeah, you got to watch some moisture there. So I don't even know what happened in that play.
So as they try to get some of this moisture off the court. Very humid outside, or very humid inside here.
Still talking about it. Like, there's contact. Like, all these players have a point when they get fouled, but it's just the fouls that it's just the sequence of the fouls. Like, because you're playoffs, so it's extra physical. So you could pick probably 3 or 4 fouls in the course of one play.
Gabe Freeman juking, jiving, and hitting it. And Gabe has a few words to say to the fans.
Yeah, that was tight.
Here's Terry Thomas. He's been a one-man wrecking crew, but it hasn't been enough here for the Storm.
It's going to be great momentum for him going into Game 5.
Mincy. Freeman.
Nice matchup here.
Freeman hits the iron, and that's Anthony Anderson going into the crowd. Nobody hurt. And a timeout called here with 50.7 seconds remaining, and the Riptide on their way to taking this to a fifth and deciding game on Tuesday. And what kind of alterations do you want to make if you're Island Storm coach Joe Salerno?
Well, I don't think he's going to make too much. He's just going to say, listen, we just didn't shoot the ball well. And I think that's the big key. We couldn't buy a basket. Some of our stuff didn't go in. Let's just tighten up on everything and play like we have nothing to lose in Game 5. And if they do that, they've showed that they can win in St. John. They're going to be very confident down there. You know, I'd try to get Terry Thomas going early. Al Stewart in the basketball game when he comes back. Try to ride on Akeem Ellis's energy, too, in that game. He's going to be fresh. So they've got a lot of weapons that they can use, and I think it's going to be a totally different Game 5. So, but the key is you have to stop Anderson, you have to stop Freeman. If you can do that, yeah, you give yourself a shot.
And so Game 5 Tuesday at Harbor Station in St. John. Storm won Game 2 there.
You're going to be there, Peter.
And it should be a great atmosphere.
Yeah. Get out to Harbor Station. Love that place. I'm from Fredericton, just down the road a little bit. So
yeah, one of the best facilities in all of Atlantic Canada, Harbor Station. So we're in the dying seconds of this game. Storm will look to try to finish up strong here.
Broken play. They ran the play when the ball wasn't even inbounded. So
yeah,
it's good practice. It's tiring though, right?
48 seconds. Here's Terry Thomas, wants a three. Wow.
And good play. Oh.
And a foul on States.
But Brad's looking at the ref like, what? But that's actually a good foul.
So it's an 8-point difference here. 39.4 seconds remaining.
And Rashad Wack will be back in for his shooting. Try to hit a jump shot. I just put Terry Thomas as point guard and run Jahi off something in the baseline because he's, run with that kind of emotion and put the pressure right on the defense right away. But they didn't quit. That's the big thing with the Storm. They didn't quit. They were down 23 at one point. So full credit to St. John. This is a good basketball team.
Yeah, they cut into the lead in the fourth quarter, basically due to the great play of Terry Thomas.
Yeah,
they're going to get the ball to him once again. Whack. Thomas there for the rebound. Wow.
33 points for Thomas. They were good effort there.
A little reach in.
And we talked about it too. We said, listen, who's gonna step up emotionally for the Storm team? And it's like we had an earbud in Terry Thomas's ear.
Yeah.
And there he was. So and they're gonna need all 5 guys to do that in St. John. And they have to go over St. John's offense again. I mean, I could diagram it for them. They know it. They've done it a million times, but you have to defend it very well. I got them into some big trouble tonight.
And St. John also doing a better job from the free throw line. They shot 72.7% in Game 3. Game 2, 59%.
Oh, Thomas just
Terry
hit another
Thomas
one.
again. And tonight they're shooting 93% from the free throw line. And there's Gabe Freeman, and he'll move in and get the easy bucket there.
They almost got a turnover in the backcourt. Like, Terry Thomas, this is one of the best closeouts I've ever seen. I think he must have about 20 points in this fourth quarter. He's that good. He's that capable. Kid from Dartmouth, played at X, played at Ottawa. I mean, you can see he belongs in this league. And for the young kids in the AUS and the OUAA or whatever, OUS right now, the Ontario leagues and Quebec leagues, listen, you're not that far away from playing in this league. And I think the league wants to expand. The NBL action is good for Canada. It's good for all these players to play.
So 8 seconds remaining. Jahee Carson misses that. And to your point, you know, earlier today, before this game, you had the ball boys, young kids out in the court. They're out there with some of these pros.
Yeah.
I mean, what better way to get some experience and realize, hey, you're that close to playing pro ball. So this league has been a godsend for young players all across the country. It's not just about the Toronto Raptors. So there's some other pro players here in this country, and this league is really going to
it's going to blossom.
Yeah, it's going to blossom and get some kids really interested about pursuing basketball as a career.
Yeah.
So game number 4 in the books, and the Riptide, they win it 107-97 over the Storm. They force a 5th and deciding game that'll take place on Tuesday night in St. John. So on behalf of Gord McNeely, the 5TV1 crew, I'm Peter Ruttgazer saying good afternoon from Charlottetown.